Welcome to Framework Fortune and welcome back Framework Fortune community. I'm your host Ben and we've got our co-host H&H Trader Hal in the building. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. Nice dump today. Just watching the garbage truck drive by today and make all its funny sounds.
Yeah. So it's time for the last strip. We're going to dive into the garbage truck dumping off this whole entire stock market today. Recap some of the trades we took, which I don't think we took very many, and take a look at the swing trades and how bad they were affected by the market drop. So, if you haven't yet, go down and hit that subscribe button and join the Framework Fortune community. But let's dive into the SPY. So like you said, nasty drop here. It opened up, looked like it was going to try to rebound. Little fake out there. Hit 436, then just dropped $8 more down to 428. So we are below the 50-day, and we still got a ways to go to that 200-day. I think we've got the support at 425, but I think we're going to see a bit of a bull trap tomorrow. I think we're going to see a little push up, a little rebound to that 440, and then we'll dump off down to 425 and test that as support. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, this one's kind of weird for me because usually those type of hammer candles have been recovering for the SPY, but the thing is the overall, like, I guess you could say the last 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 almost 15 weeks, it's made like this downwards bowl. Looks like a big bowl.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know about recovery on this one. This one's mess. This is the first time we've seen a bowl instead of a bounce straight back up. So I think the sentiment is changing, and I don't think it's long anymore. I think it's very bearish with these signs.
Yeah, especially when you look at Market Watch. That's just just a lot of red there. So I agree with you. The only thing I think we're going to see a rebound is just tomorrow. Just a little bull trap. You know, some bulls coming back in here thinking they're getting good deals on these prices. And then it's just going to dump on them maybe by after hours tomorrow or on Wednesday. But I don't see us recovering this time. But we will see.
Gonna be fun.
Yeah. So what'd you hop in today?
I hopped into ZIVO.
You brave man.
Yeah, ZIVO and EDSA. So we can look at ZIVO first. That was the first trades, and
yeah, this had a decent run up in pre-market. I don't think they had any PR today, did they? No.
They had what was their PR?
They didn't have any PR.
Oh yeah, no, they didn't.
They did have their PR on the 27th that they filed a $125 million shelf registration.
Oh yeah, they did have that. ZIVO just, I don't know, man. It just was one of those. I was like, okay, it's literally the only thing moving.
Right.
So I was like, well, I'm gonna play this one like you play shelf registrations, tight, keep the stops tight. And then if it breaks VWAP, that thing can go down to Kingdom Come. So keep the stops above VWAP. That was my game plan.
Yeah.
And so it came up here. It blasted out of there. So that flat top, usually I say that's a bearish signal, but it closed green with a lot of buying pressure. Usually the red ones I stick away from, but I took a scalp on this one up to the top. Kept my stop very close and took some profit there, 50 shares. And then it fell back down. And I was like, ooh, do I want this? And it started flattening out again. And it came down to another one right here, this little indecision looking one, but it closed green again.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm jumping in here. Took that one to the top, sold the top of that one. Then it came back down and it cracked VWAP. And I was like, ooh, I don't really like it. So I waited, I let it play around there a little bit, came up here to the top again, and then it came down and formed what looks like a double bottom around VWAP.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah, right there. And that was, I was like, ooh, do I want this? And so with the last of my little capital, I waited, and it had another little green indecision right here on VWAP, right there. jumped in there again because I just like that pattern as a bullish pattern, and it worked. I held this one though. I was using VWAP every time that 725 level to get out, and it stopped me out right here on this rejection on this red indice. That one stopped me out right there, and I got on out of there. That was the last one.
Nice. Well, it looks like you scalped it and traded it right. I mean, that was dangerous to try to hold this long, especially on a day where the market's downtrending. No reason to hold anything long unless you have a good reason to hold it long. But yeah, this is just no PR to have a common shelf registration. I think it just hit new lows and just kind of had a dead cat bounce there, a little late bounce, because it got rejected hard at the 200-day, and now it's back down almost to the 50-day. So there is I think there is a gap to fill.
It tried to fill it but failed.
Yeah.
Pre-market became a resistance for it as well. It couldn't even get back up there and even with all that volume, it couldn't just pump out one time and break that pre-market high.
Nah. So then you said you traded EDSA.
Yep.
This is nice climb today after that sell-off. Now they did have news. They had positive phase 2, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was for COVID.
I saw this one crash out of the open. Of course, it went red on the day, so I didn't touch it. And it was a good decision. Then it finally started holding up VWAP, had blasted off above VWAP, and I got interested. So once it made this little fallback into this area, I bought right at the $10. I had already set my little stop out there to get in long, and then I put a trailing stop of $1 on it. I was like, I'm gonna let it play with $1. It went up quite a bit, and then came down and stopped me out down there.
On that trailing stop.
Yeah, on that trailing stop, and then it blasted back up. I should have put $1.50 because it was very small share size anyway, but the trade worked out. It was a green trade, 36 cents per share, so it wasn't a stupid trade. It was just my trailing stop was just too good at its job. That's all.
Yeah, well, nothing wrong with that. It's still green. That's all that matters. Man, it did hold most of its gains too today. So, I mean, that may be one to watch for tomorrow. It is above all EMAs, but I would expect a pullback tomorrow, but it's hard to say. The way this candle closed, I mean, that's pretty bullish looking. Just barely any wick to it. It's got to break 12, though. If it could break 12, we could see it push some more. Maybe look for a scalp on there or something, but I don't know. With the way the market is right now, it's going to depend on how the SPY opens tomorrow. Because if it's another downtrending day like we had, that's where we're seeing the breakouts just fell hard.
All I'll be looking for on this one for retrade is for it to open and hold above the body of that candle, daily chart candle, which is 934. Yeah. I would like to see it start to kind of find some support at that 950 level, because right now it's at 960, so it's working its way right at that body, and I would not want it to push back down in there.
Yeah, you can see it's trying on there on the 5-minute chart. You can see where it's trying to hold up that same area. Actually, doing okay for now in after hours, but looking like it may dip before after hours closes possibly. I took a shot on DATS. We've been watching this guy on the daily chart slowly climbing up, and it started popping up there, so it got my attention. So I just waited for a pullback, and when it bounced off the VWAP there, started giving some pushback up. I got in at the break of the bottom of this body right here, like 770, and I got filled at 773, and then it came back down again, so I added some more there to average down, and we had a shoot up there to 790. I could have, maybe locked out like $10 or something. But then when it started dropping again there, it just stopped me out. I kept my stop losses tight. So I lost like $5 or something. 40 shares from 768 to 45. Not much. But it did break out of that triangle and just stopped me out on that little wick that pushed all the way down. That's what I was looking for, that move up to 8. Because I figured, that 8's been the tough resistance. I figured we'd at least try to test it today after that first push.
Yeah, it didn't start respecting VWAP till later on in the day, looks like. Let me see. So, because it was all over VWAP at first in the morning, blasted through it, had a big red pullback through it, blasted through it again. No respect of really any of the trend lines, VWAP
Yeah.
or the 9 EMA. There,
Yeah.
those pullbacks above VWAP were a little bit of confirmation for the longs. It just wasn't enough follow up behind it, but it did get out of there a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just got wicked out there, which is no big deal. I'd rather get wicked out on a day like today than be holding something that may drop. So that's fine. And I still think this is still a decent swing. I think it may take a few days, though, to try to get to the end of this triangle before it actually breaks 8, because it is really struggling with that area. And then I took a trade on Surf.
Oh, yeah. One Life called this trash out to me.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, this is nothing that I would touch in my life.
well, I got in here because of this bullish engulfing candle. We had the little run up, got rejected, little pullback, and then when this candle started coming up and it was close to closing, it was like a 30 seconds left, I think, in the candle for it to close. It popped over there, and I hopped in 30 shares looking for it to break, but you can see it just got slammed. Every time the market would drop, though, this would pull back. It just could not get momentum going.
Let's dissect this one of why when One Life called this out to me, I saw it was right here at the engulfing candle. And the first thing I look for is, hey, is it respecting VWAP? So your VWAP, you can see it came through VWAP, blasted up, and then when it gave that little pullback on that 3-bar red
Right
play
there,
right there.
yeah.
Came straight through VWAP, just slipped through there like a piece of butter.
Yeah.
And it blasted off again, and I was like, "This thing isn't respecting VWAP. It's just hurting longs and shorts. So I'm not gonna trade it."
Yeah, I was looking for this triangle to break out, and that's when I got stopped out there as soon as it started dropping. So that was a $10 loss. So, I lost like $20 today. Not a big deal for what the day is. But I did add to my JCS position. I had 30 more shares as it was pushing up, closing strong today at 890. Now, I did look into this. This is a mistake on Thinkorswim's part, this double dividend payment. There's only one dividend payment for 350. But I went and did a little bit of digging and found the actual dividend paper about it. So they are doing this. You have to be in JCS before September 30th, and the payout is on October 15th. So I read the original press release wrong, I don't know, maybe a week ago or something, whenever I started watching this. So I got to October 15th to hold it. But if you keep reading about this company, they had a merger with Pineapple Energy, I think it is. Yeah, Pineapple merger transaction. And that is an energy company. So they are merging together as a solar energy company, which those type of companies have been hot. Before the merger, JCS is trying to make their shareholders as much money off of the merger. They're paying their shareholders out of several of the assets that they're selling and things like that. So this one I think may be a decent play to keep on watch for a while, even after this dividend, because they are saying they are wanting to do different things for shareholders like this. They're wanting to expand how they give back to their shareholders. And if they're willing to give out a $3.50 dividend, that's a pretty interesting company to me, just to take care of their shareholders. So the merger hasn't happened yet, but this payoff is for their shareholders before the merger. And then after the merger and the dividend payment and all that, you're going to get other, I think it was CRV rights to shares or something like that. So they're really trying to get people to buy this stock, which could be a great thing or it could be a hoodoo. It's looking good. I mean, it closed pretty strong today. And you just see on that daily chart pushing back up to that 950 area. Even with the crash today, this ran against the crash. I'm keeping it on very close watch. I'm at 80 shares now on this thing. And if it drops again, I'm probably going to add again. But I think the closer we get to that September 30th date, it's 10 days away, the more buying is going to have to come into this. I mean, who doesn't want that $3.50 dividend? there's got to be investors who want it, especially with an energy company doing a merger and the float is only 9 million.
Yeah, I think it can definitely be interesting. I just I'll be very careful on it because with that with that kind of dividend, people could just take the money and sell.
Yeah, well, that's what
I'm
I'm
just,
expecting. I'm expecting everybody to hold till the dividend date, get the payout, and then dump the stock. So
hmm
it's gonna be a mad dash to get out of this for that. But the day of the dividend date, I'm gonna have a good till cancel ordered in a certain price, so that way I at least get that dividend as some profits.
So, what's your average price on it right now?
At the moment, I am in. My average is 866.
866. I would just say, well, let's see. You got 80 shares,
Mm-hmm.
866. So you could say what, like $8 is a nice risk level, or $8 is give it room to play.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be an $80 loss, but you'll take a lot of profit on the
Mm-hmm.
upside anyway.
Yeah, yeah. 350. If I just hold to the dividend, that 350 times 80. If I don't add any more, it's $300. So I might lose 80 holding if it does drop to the dividend payment, but the profit I'm going to get off the dividend payment is going to be more than what I lose if I can get out quick enough. Because I do agree. I think it's going to be a cash and grab and go. People are going to be grabbing this up until the 30th, and then they're going to be dumping.
I wish you luck. Everybody gonna have. The thing is, I bet there is so many stop losses under this thing. It ain't even funny.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. And I don't know if shorters would want to short this or not. Not
No.
going into a merger and then paying out a $350 dividend. That would, if I was a shorter, that would scare me away from it until the day of the dividend.
Hold up. That's JCS.
Yeah.
The percent shortage is 2.45. So,
Oh yeah. There's
for
nothing on
every
this.
10 or for every 100 shares, there's what, two being shorted.
Yeah. So there's not even. It's not enough to even affect the price really.
Yeah,
So yeah, if this thing gets buying
man.
volume, it can go. That's the thing. The top gainer list, other than ZIVO and EDSA, looks like CRVS had a little pop there again, getting another push up today. I guess it was a COVID pharmaceutical stock, but you can see it's on a nice uptrend. I don't know. I'd expect a pullback now on this thing tomorrow. I wouldn't want to touch this up this high. And then the swing trade list just all looks rough now.
Yeah, it all gapped down. I was like, you know what? Whatever. Those gap downs were
Now
more than I can handle.
ISIG did hold the trend line again.
Yeah, I
That's
saw that.
interesting. What do you think? What do you think on ISIG? Think it's going to bounce off its trend line?
I'm gonna have to see because everything was affected by the stock market. I mean, by the SPY today. So I'm gonna have to see what kind of continuation it can give. Can it turn back around and start going green? Because if it can, maybe like a nice little 40-cent rip on it.
Yeah. And APOP, that one pretty much dying there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say it's off the list. What do you think?
Yep.
Sigma really pulled back, which it pulled back to the 10. So it may still be worth keeping on watch to see if it rebounds over 10. It's basically got to break $10. If it can re-break $10, then we could see it push up. But if it doesn't, it's probably going to sell back down to 50. I think we could leave it on there for now. CLWT, I think that one's done.
Oh yeah, that one gapped down big.
Yeah,
I was
that
like, you know
one,
what? That's
yeah.
crazy. But I mean, it had reason to with the rest of the SPY dropping like it has. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it would have made that type of move if the SPY didn't give it confirmation.
Yeah, I don't think so either. If the SPY would have pulled back, I think it would have kept climbing, but that ruined that pattern. So people going to start dumping that. ATC,
Nice little hanger there.
yeah.
Need to wipe his nose.
Yeah. What do you think, man? I'm iffy on this one. Because that was not a huge pullback, but it wasn't what I wanted to see out of this.
I would have to see some recovery consolidation on this one because that's a long bar compared to the last 300 bars.
Yeah. We'll leave it on here for tomorrow and see if it rebounds any at all, but I don't know if it's going to. And then BTCS, this had a pretty nasty gap down, but this just got hit with the double hammer because cryptos dropped and stock market dropped, so it just kind of smacked it down. It gapped down this morning, but it did get some buying and pushed it back up where it closed, close to that 7.80, that $8 area again.
You remember what I said? I wanted to see it hold around that the last bottom, the last red bottom was what, 781?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see where the next red was. And this is why I wanted to wait, because you see that gap down was not pretty.
Yeah, well, like I said, this got hit with the stock market and the crypto market both dropping because I'm still keeping it on watch. I'm still holding 30 shares. I may add if it drops tomorrow. I don't know.
I mean, it had a nice recovery, so we'll just see.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Basically, we're just going to have to see what the market does tomorrow because if the market keeps dropping, it's going to ruin it's going to keep ruining patterns and momentum that stocks had. And that's my biggest concern is the momentum getting destroyed.
We trade in the trash can. Trash can don't care about all that.
Well,
we still see 100% movers on a completely failable SPY day.
Yeah, you're not wrong, man. EDSA did run 100% today, so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, some of these low float penny stocks are going to be affected by the intraday moves. Like DATS, like every time I'd see the SPY start to drop, it would start to drop, and it just kept ruining the momentum. Like this looked like it was going to break out so many times. But yeah, it may be the situation though where we have to wait out the morning time and just trade maybe afternoon power hour. Now that the SPY has dropped, all bets are off the table now. Things could go either way. And then I wanted to get your opinion on this. Lauren shared this in the live stream this morning.
Biden administration could sidestep McConnell's refusal to pay Americans by minting a $1 trillion platinum coin.
That's the same reaction I had. I just started rubbing my face. I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "No! This is bad, man."
Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to do like a substitution jutsu.
A what?
A substitution jutsu. If you watch Naruto, the ninja movie, ninja show, substitution jutsu. This is basically what they're trying to do. They're like, you know what? This fake doll is gonna be worth whatever we say it's worth, no matter what.
Exactly, and that's not how money works. You can't just take something and say it's worth this now. Everybody bow down to our 1 trillion platinum coin. If you are not aware, with Zimbabwe or Venezuela, they tried to do the same stuff and it failed miserably. So go do some research on both of those countries and how we literally have been following in their footsteps and now are even going this far, which is just nonsense. Platinum's like $800-900 an ounce, so even if they use a whole ounce for this coin, the metal value is only going to be $800 to $900. So it's not going to be $1 trillion coin. That's just what they're going to say it's worth. That's it for the last rip. We'll be back tomorrow on both channels for some more live stream trading. Come join us. We're going to take on this market in the sketchiest of sketchy times and see if we can't conquer it. Appreciate everybody joining us as always. Stay safe out there. Until next time.